What's up guys? So I got a requested video. This is highly requested, the Note 10 Plus versus the Note 20 Ultra in 2022. And this makes sense for Note 10 Plus users that want to upgrade for the newer features in the Note 20 Ultra. The reason why is because you would say, well, why not go with the S21 Ultra or the Note 20 Ultra? Note 10 Plus users, from my understanding, they really value the SD card support. So the Note 20 Ultra does still retain SD card support, unlike the newer phones. So that's definitely one reason. So let's go over the pros. I think there's like maybe 3 essential pros that you would consider upgrading your Note 10 Plus to this phone. So let's go ahead and get started with the price. So the Note 10 Plus is going to cost like $400 used refurbished. I'll put that link down below. But the Note 20 Ultra is still kind of expensive. It's like almost at around $800 still. And if you can find it if you shop around cheaper, but usually they're trending for around that price point. So it is still kind of expensive. As far as the look, I really like the look of both of these devices. I think they look really clean and really classy. Be sure to let me know which design do you guys like the most. One thing that you notice about the design of these two phones is that the stylus on the Note 10 Plus is on the left. The stylus is on the right on the Note 20 Ultra. But essentially, it's the same sort of design that you know and love from these Note phones. Now the Note 20 Ultra does feel just a tad bit heavier, and the Note 10, yeah, it just feels a little bit lighter. Obviously you got that camera bump. As far as size, they're both about the same size, and the Note 20 Ultra definitely feels a bit thicker in the hand as well too. Alright, so this is very important here. So the displays on here, there is an essential difference here that we need to talk about. So on the Note 20 Ultra, you do have a 6.9-inch dynamic AMOLED display. It's 120 Hz HDR10. It's 1440p 496 for the PPI. On the Note 10 Plus, you do have a 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED display, also HDR10 Plus, and it's also a 1440p display. Where the difference is that one is slightly taller, but that's not really the big deal here. This display does have 120 Hz, so the Note 20 Ultra does have 120 Hz, and on the Note 10 Plus is just a standard 60 Hz display. So what does that mean? Basically, your swiping and stuff like that will feel a lot smoother on the Note 20 Ultra. Now here's the catch with the Note 20 Ultra though. It's only 120 Hz at 1080p, which is not a big deal. I think the 1080p still looks really good on here. So I don't have a problem with that, as you can see. But if I go to 1440p, you can see, well, that option goes back to standard 60 Hz. It's disabled. So yeah, that's the one thing about it you may or may not like. I just wanted to mention that. Both displays are beautiful, both gorgeous displays. But like I said, you do get that 120 Hz, so it'll feel much smoother on the Note 20 Ultra. You can take advantage of games that are also support the 120 Hz as well too, so everything just looks super smooth. But as far as display quality, they pretty much look the same. So if 120 Hz is not a big deal, that's one of the essential upgrades for me at least. Then definitely take that into consideration. They're both curved displays as well too. They both have that curve, and they both get really bright outdoors. I don't have an issue viewing these phones. They're just really nice looking panels. Alright, so let's talk about the next important thing, and that is software. So the Note 10 Plus got its last major OS update with Android 12. It will be getting the One UI 4.1 update soon. I'll do a video when that comes out. And then the Note 20 Ultra, it is on Android 12. It has the One UI 4.1 update already. And but here's the thing, this phone will get another year of major OS updates, so it'll get Android 13. And this phone will not. It'll be getting security patches. So I believe it's like 3 years of security patches for the Note 10 Plus. But after this gets Android 13, I believe this will go into its security patch stages as well. So that's something to take note of. It's not really a big deal, but it could be a big deal for you. As far as the software experience, there's nothing on the Note 20 Ultra that the Note 10 Plus doesn't already do. So as far as Samsung desktop support, your wireless power sharing, Dolby Atmos, secure folders, all the One UI features are still on here. There's nothing new on the Note 20 Ultra that's not already on here. As far as the stylus goes, they are essentially the same. They feel exactly the same. So as far as taking notes and all that stuff, navigating, they're both extremely good experience, so I haven't really noticed a difference as far as the latency. They both pretty much feel instant, so you know, it really is not too much of a difference. You guys can see the theme here. So far, the big differences are 120 hertz. This will get Android 13. This will not. So that's a pretty, that might be a big deal. Now, as far as the specs go, the Snapdragon 855 still is surprisingly very comparable to the Snapdragon 865. It's not a massive difference. So the specs go on the Note 10 Plus. You have a Snapdragon 855 Adreno 640 GPU, micro SD card support, 256 gigs of internal storage on the base model, then 12 gigs of RAM. And then on the Note 20 Ultra, Snapdragon 865 on here. You also have the Adreno 650 micro SD card support. This specific version is 256 and 8 gigs of RAM, or 12 gig. Yeah, this is 12 gigs of RAM. And yeah, so performance wise, they are pretty much on par with each other. Do I have the Antutu? I'll show you guys the Antutu scores as well too. So they feel, even though of course you're going to get higher scores on the Note 20 Ultra, they feel about the same as far as like you're just going into applications and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and reopen Subway Surf. They feel about the same. They don't lag. The Note 10 Plus does not lag or anything like that. It just still feels very fast, even compared to the newest flagships and stuff like that. It still feels buttery smooth. Like I said, one of the biggest things I look for with older flagships is, are these things going to be lagging all over the place when I'm just doing basic stuff like scrolling, maybe web browsing? These phones do a great job at just being very fast, very snappy. So that is one thing that I really like. As far as gaming performance, they're pretty much on par with each other. I'll go ahead and launch PUBG. Alright, again, I just want to show you guys the graphics in PUBG. They're essentially the same, so you can play at the same exact settings on the Note 10 Plus as the Note 20 Ultra. Again, you know, playing games on both of these phones, like I said, I didn't really notice too much of a difference in terms of performance. They essentially play the same. They both feel silky smooth. And they also, these phones don't really get hot during long periods of gaming. They might get a little bit warm, but I've never had these phones get hot and start to lag and stuff like that. So performance wise, gaming experience is going to be great on both of these. Alright, so let's talk about some of the additional features, and we'll talk about these stereo speakers. Let's do a side-by-side comparison. Try to hear which one sounds louder. Start with the Note 10 Plus. Oh yeah, so there's much more bass on the Note 20 Ultra. Clearly much more bass. It's a more balanced sound as well too. Definitely has the better speakers. Yeah, so they're both, in terms of loudness, they're about the same, but the Note 20 Ultra just has the better and fuller sound there. Alright, so both phones have a in-display fingerprint sensor, and they both have NFC. They also both have IP68 dust and water resistant. As far as I can tell, they're both about the same in terms of speed. They don't feel, one doesn't feel faster than the other, so that's really good. And you can also take advantage of your face unlock as well too if you desire to. So I want to go ahead and discuss the cameras. This is pretty important for people who you know, we're looking for a camera upgrade. Now you do have just bigger numbers on the Note 20 Ultra, so let's go over these specs. It's got a 108 megapixel lens on here, a 12 megapixel periscope lens that does 5x optical zoom, and it goes up to 50 times hybrid zoom. And then you have a 12 megapixel ultra wide. It shoots in 8K 24, and then a 10 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K 60. So as you're going to see, these specs are just a little bit more beefier on the Note 20 Ultra. It just has more zoom. It also has higher res video. And you also have on the Note 10 Plus a triple camera setup, 12 megapixel, 12 megapixel telephoto, does 2x, 16 megapixel ultra wide, and shoots in 4K 60, 10 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K 60. So as you can see the Note 20 Ultra just has those beefier specs. Let's go ahead and get into the side-by-side camera comparison so you guys can see what the shots look like. Now the battery situation is essentially about the same. These are both all-day phones for me. You can easily get over 6 hours of screen on time. There is a slight difference though. So the Note 10 Plus, it does have a 45-watt charging on here, which I thought was pretty interesting because the Note 20 Ultra has 25-watt charging. They both have wireless charging and reverse wireless charging. As far as the battery sizes, they're pretty much the same. You have a 4300 milliamp battery on the Note 20 Ultra versus the 4500 on the Note 10 Plus. And again, the screen on time is essentially about the same for me. So that's pretty much it. Basically, the biggest differences with these phones would be the 120 hertz. It would also be that this phone is getting Android 13, and it's also that this phone has beefier cameras. Other than that, they are both pretty much on par with everything else. It's essentially the same. So be sure to let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.